I have to admit, I had a bit of a crafting disaster last October. I had this grand vision of carving this really intricate, multi-layered pumpkin design, something super architectural. And I got exactly 3 minutes into the process before the structural integrity just completely failed. The sidewall collapsed, and I was left with this very sad orange pile of mush. It was a very humbling reminder that carving anything brittle is an absolute
Oh,
nightmare.
yeah, it is surprisingly difficult.
Hmm.
And honestly, a pumpkin is actually pretty forgiving. I mean, imagine trying that with a material that doesn't just turn to mush, but shatters explosively if you basically just look at it the wrong way.
Right. Which brings us to today's obsession for this deep dive, the Roman diatreta, or cage cup. If you haven't looked at the images and the sources yet, picture a glass beaker, but floating around it, completely detached except for these tiny, delicate little struts, is a complex lattice of glass mesh. It looks like a cage just hovering right around the cup.
Yeah, these are arguably the absolute pinnacle of Roman glassmaking. We're talking about 4th century technology here. And they're so intricate that for centuries, archaeologists and art historians just couldn't agree on how they were physically possible to make.
Because the sources are wild, they totally debunk the sort of common sense theory. You look at these things and you naturally assume, okay, make the cup, make the cage, and then very carefully fuse them together while the glass is hot.
Exactly, the additive method. But the consensus now, and this is backed by modern microscopy, is subtractive manufacture.
Yeah.
So they didn't build the cage up, they actually cut it away. They carved the entire thing, the cup, the struts, the cage, all from a single solid block of glass.
Which just seems insanely risky to me. According to the research, they started with a blank, so a double thick vessel, maybe 12 millimeters or more. But the real engineering marvel here isn't even the cutting yet, it's the thermodynamics.
Right, the annealing process. Because if you blow a glass blank that thick and just let it cool unevenly, you trap massive amounts of internal tension.
And if you touch a high tension glass blank with any sort of grinding tool,
It explodes, literally shatters. So before the diatretum, the specialized glass cutters, could even touch these things, the blanks had to be cooled imperceptibly slowly over days just to remove that stress.
and once it was cool, they used bow drills and abrasive sand to basically just grind away the excess material. The precision required is staggering. I mean, they were removing massive amounts of glass to leave behind struts that are sometimes only 1.5 millimeters thick.
It's the ultimate high wire act. One vibration, one little slip of the hand, or even a hidden air bubble in the glass, and the lattice snaps. And we aren't talking about gluing it back together. Months of work are ruined in a split second.
And we know for a fact it's a monolith because of the bubble trails,
Yeah,
right?
that's the smoking gun right there. Under a microscope, you can actually see trails of tiny air bubbles flowing continuously from the inner cup, right through the strut and out into the outer cage. There's no seam at all. It conclusively proves it is one solid piece of glass.
It implies a level of steady-handedness that is just hard to comprehend. It's pure precision engineering without the automation. And speaking of precision and automation, let's take a quick moment for our sponsor, Embersilk.
Absolutely. If you are trying to figure out where AI agents can actually make an impact for your business, uncovering real utility and not just the hype, or if you need help with AI training, automation, or software development, you really should check them out.
Yeah, head over to embersilk.com for all your AI needs. Now, getting back to the cups. We've established how they made them, which is mind-blowing. But the next big question is why?
Well, the inscriptions on them give us a pretty big clue. A lot of them say "Bibe vivas multos annos."
Drink, may you live for many years.
Yeah.
So these were high-end party vessels, essentially. Although I really love the theory that some might have actually been used as lamps.
It makes a lot of sense. If you put a flame inside, that intricate mesh cage casts these dramatic dancing shadows all over the walls.
Yeah.
But the lighting aspect gets even more technical, almost magical when we look at the Lycurgus cup.
Oh, this is my favorite part. The Lycurgus cup is a specific cage cup that physically changes color. It looks green in reflected light, but if you shine light directly through it, it turns this glowing, brilliant red.
This is where Roman engineering hits the level of accidental nanotechnology. It's a dichroic glass.
And the chemical analysis shows they achieved this by impregnating the glass with gold and silver nanoparticles, right?
Exactly. Ground down to about 50 nanometers in size.
Just to be totally clear, the Romans obviously didn't know what a nanometer was.
Yeah.
This represents pure empirical materials science. They didn't have the modern theory, but they had the hard data from centuries of trial and error.
And I think that's the key takeaway here. We tend to define high-tech as microchips and electricity. But high-tech is really just about mastering the physical world. It's about understanding a material so deeply, its fracture mechanics, its optics, its stress points, that you can push it to its absolute physical limit.
It really is an inspiring look at human potential. It forces you to rethink the entire timeline of innovation. I mean, if they were carving floating glass cages by hand in the 4th century, what incredible materials are we mastering today that will absolutely baffle archaeologists in the year 4000?
That is a fascinating question. I suspect some of our advanced synthetic materials, or maybe even the intricate ways we manipulate silicon right now, might just be the cage cups of the future.
It's a great reminder that human ingenuity is truly timeless, and we're always pushing the boundaries of what's possible. If you enjoyed this deep dive into ancient engineering, please subscribe to the show.
And hey, leave us a 5-star review if you can. It really does help get the word out.
Thanks for tuning in.